Hello and good morning. How are you doing? Hopefully doing well. Well, it's going to be another June day, another hot day where we should be for this time of the year, around 93, 94 degrees. I think that'll be our high. We got a lot to talk about though today. We've got some Saharan dust. You'll notice it next week. Sunday kind of comes in, definitely Monday, Tuesday. It'll be a little hazy, but also almost at the same time, we may have some developments in the Gulf of Mexico and some moisture may come in as well. So you may not notice the dust as much if we do bring in the clouds. It's going to be a really close call. Next week is going to be an interesting week, just to say the least. All right, so let's start off with the Saharan dust. Okay. There's no doubt that there's some dust in the Gulf of Mexico. And what's really interesting is usually the dust keeps any kind of development from happening, but they're almost like coinciding together. I'll show you this coming up here in just a second. But either way, I think some dust will make its way into south central Texas. And if you're sensitive to the air quality, may affect you. One thing you'll notice is some hazy conditions Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, depending on if we do get rain. You may notice it, you may not, but either way, Sunday through early next week, I think we've got a chance for some Saharan dust to make its way into the area. Okay, so taking a look outside, you can definitely tell we don't have any dust today. We've got blue skies, pretty little white clouds, cumulus clouds, temperatures in the mid-80s, 85 degrees. Low this morning, 77. Record high, 105, set back in 1980. You know, I went and looked. The last time we hit a record high, you want to take a guess? I'll let you guess. May the 16th, that was the last time we had a record high, and I believe it was 99. So it's been a while since we've hit a record high, and I don't see another one until sometime maybe after July the 10th. I think that would probably be the soonest. So that's a pretty good string of no record highs, especially coming off the kind of summers that we've had. The last several summers have been really hot. Again, that record high set back in 1980 at 105. Here's what you can expect. Average high for this time of the year, 93. I think we'll hit a high of 94. That'll be a string of 94s. I think just about every day this week we've hit 94. I got to go back and look, but I think we've either hit 93 or 94 just about every day this week. Been very, very consistent. And our temperatures have been close to what you'd expect for this time of the year because of the soil moisture. But I do think that the soil moisture will finally evaporate out as we get closer to the mid-July, and temperatures therefore will go up. That is unless we pick up some more heavy rain. I don't necessarily see that happening. So I think temperatures will go up as we head into July. At least that is my plan so far. Okay, David Bellis, as usual, he chimes in. David, you got two for us today? What is this? Maybe it's a two for Friday. David Bellis with claustrophobic people are more productive thinking out of the box. Well, of course they are. In the box, they can't think because they're claustrophobic. Love it. And David says, speaking of dust, I got rid of my vacuum cleaner. It was just collecting dust. Well, that means I guess you didn't use it, but it was collecting dust. I guess even if you did use it, very good. You know what, David? Your comments always make me think. But very, very good. I like that. Okay, temperatures out there right now. We're sitting in the 80s. I believe we're in the mid-80s. Yep, 85 degrees. Seguin's at 86. Hondo's at 83. Victoria 88, and Hallettsville coming in at 87. We do have some showers. Did I skip that? Maybe I did. Let's take a look. Maybe we were on that, and I got sidetracked with the David Bellis comments for today. Yeah, we've got a few showers way down south. Let me see if I can zoom in here. I believe that activity in Gonzales County is false return, but we do have a shower around Goliad County, pretty close, went right over Goliad, it looks like. Victoria County as well. I think there will be some isolated showers. I just don't think they're going to make it into Bexar County today or tomorrow. They'll likely stay over to the east. Okay, let's talk about this. I showed you the temperatures. It's pretty warm out there, mid-80s. Here's what's going on in the tropics. Things have changed a little bit from earlier this morning. You know, it was just a cluster of showers and storms this morning. But now really starting to have a lot of development there in the western portions of the Caribbean. The National Hurricane Center has given this less than a 40% chance of development in the Bay of Campeche. Of course, this time of the year, they're in the southern portions of the Gulf. That's where if anything was going to develop, it'd probably be there. So I'm watching that. Also, you can see on the Pacific side, look at that big cluster of showers and storms there in the Pacific side. That may develop. So very complex going on here. What is probably going to happen is this will go across the Yucatan, have a struggling time over the weekend, reemerge in Sunday and into Monday. And if this stays kind of offshore, may develop into a tropical storm. But either way, there's probably going to be a lot of moisture moving into Mexico there. And just depending on how our high is set up, some of that moisture may try to make its way into South Central Texas. Boy, right now, I'll be honest, and I hate to be on the fence on so many things, but it's going to be a really close call. Let me show you the European. We got the Canadian model. We've got the GFS, which is the American model. Here's the European model. This is the one I'm kind of going right down the middle of the road with this one. This is kind of in between all of them. But this weekend, I don't think we're going to see much rainfall, okay? Matter of fact, almost 0% for today and tomorrow. But as we head into Sunday, partly because of what's going on there in the Gulf, some moisture may move in. But the center of the high is going to be over East Texas and Louisiana. It's going to be really hard for us to see much more than isolated showers with that kind of setup. Then as we head into Monday, depending on what happens there in Mexico, if that high is just off to a little bit to the east, then I do think it's possible that some of the moisture could move in. Right now I'm going to go with a 20% chance. That could definitely increase on Tuesday. I mean, look at the European really showing quite a bit of rain. I'm going to keep it at 20. I'm going to be conservative for now. 20% for Tuesday, 20% for Wednesday. And then the Canadian model is very aggressive with all kinds of rain. Like I said, right now I think the best thing to do is just kind of keep it conservative into Thursday and also into the 4th of July. Boy, you can see what's happening here. Here's the 4th. We've got the center of the high. I probably need to move that down a little bit further into the Gulf of Mexico, but disturbance from what's left over from whatever happens with that system in the Gulf there comes in back on the 4th of July, but then again, there's a big high. Which one is going to win? I think a 10 to 20% chance of showers and a hot day on the 4th of July is probably the best way to play that. Let's take a look at the precipitable water. Today, we've got a high kind of on top of us, 1.5. That's not going to do it as far as rainfall. I think any isolated showers will stay over to the east. Saturday's probably the same thing. But notice what happens here as we head into the beginning of next week. And this is, by the way, the European model. That precipitable water goes all the way to 2.05. So I'm going to throw in a chance for a shower on Monday and then increase it on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then at the same time, believe it or not, we've got the Saharan dust that we're dealing with. So Sunday, I think we're going to be on the edges. Now, it all depends on what happens with that moisture there in Mexico. Notice how it just is an abrupt edge to the Saharan dust. It's because of all that moisture that's in the Gulf of Mexico. So we're going to be kind of on the edge Sunday, also on Monday. Now, this is putting in a lot of dust on Tuesday. Boy, I think we're going to be right on the edge on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. So we may have some dust, some hazy conditions to deal with, but then again, we may have some scattered showers, and that'll kind of knock that out a little bit. Next week is going to be really interesting. I'll show you the 14-day and what I've got on the 14-day here in just a minute. All right, 94. I don't think we'll see any isolated showers here in Bexar County. Tomorrow morning in the 70s, and then tomorrow, mid-90s as well. I don't think we'll see any isolated showers on Saturday. And then Sunday morning, we'll start off with some clouds, and then in the afternoon, maybe a 10% chance. And again, I'll show you that 14-day. Let's go to it right here. Let's see. Oh, by the way, Dominic says skies are clear out at Medina Lake. You know, I haven't looked at the lake levels lately. Probably not much improvement, but maybe some. Hopefully you're getting some improvement on that lake level there in Medina. I know they've kind of leveled off, and maybe it's a little bit of a slow rise there. All right, mid-90s today. Tomorrow, mid-90s, partly cloudy. Sunday, Monday, 10%. I may have to go 20 on Monday. I'm going to go 10 to 20 on Monday, and then 20% for Tuesday and Wednesday, and also on Thursday. High temperatures, mid-90s, 94, 95, 96, which isn't really too far above average, but that is a little bit. And then the 4th of July, 10%, 97 for a high over the weekend, 97, partly cloudy skies. And then I think we may start getting closer to, well, above 100 for the 9th, the 10th. Like once we get closer to the mid part of July, I think we're going to be over 100 degrees. It all depends on the soil moisture, but at this point, it looks like that's where we're headed. So, all right. We'll have a great weekend. High temperatures, mid-90s, partly cloudy skies for the most part, and we may be looking at some better rain chances next week. I'm going to play conservative now, about a 10 to 20% chance. Highs in the mid-90s. That's the way it looks to me. Okay, I've got to go run and do the noon show. Make sure and watch us 4, 5, 6, and 10. I will not be here tomorrow because it is Saturday, but I will be back Monday. And we really appreciate you streaming. Go to KENS 5 Plus and KENS5.com. All right, appreciate it. We will see you later.